Hello, welcome to my life on paper. I'm so happy you are here, and I am doing a layout for Stampin' Stencil Savvy. And our prompt this month is the kissing technique, which I will tell you about in a moment. I am also taking a sketch from Series 19 of Christy's Beautiful Life in her 30 Days of Sketches, and today's sketch I am doing is by Lynda Mowat, who is the scrapbooking photographer on YouTube. I will have her links below because she is fabulous, and you should go check her out. It is not October any longer, and we are not doing the 30 days of sketches, but I wanted to try this one anyway. There are a couple ways to do the kissing technique. So this one is taking that ticket, I inked it up, and I took my other map stamp, and I'm going to stamp it down. And I do not like the way it looks. It's really hard to tell. I even did a second generation to see if that worked better. And it did not. So I am going to go back to the first way. Um, the pro or not the problem. So the thing to realize when you are picking out which stamps you want to use is that you're going to lose your words or things like that. Because I'm going to give a couple different tries. This is you couldn't see the detail to the ticket. You could just tell it was a rectangle. Is that a big deal? Absolutely not. But my thought was to get a ticket. So I'm using different things. I think this one has words on it. I'm using different, yeah, and you can't see it. Again, you get the shape, but you can't see the details on the inside. So just remember that there's nothing wrong with this shape. It just kind of wasn't going what I was going for, and I wanted to find something better. So I tried the geotag, which works, but is teeny, so it's hard to really see anything is going on there. But I will stamp those out, and then I'll go looking for a different stamp. Now, most of these stamps, except for the map stamp that I'm using, are from Stamping Up. The map stamp is one I got from Amazon. And I apologize, I'm going to do some stamping below where you won't be able to see it, and that's really unfortunate. But I end up coming up with this. It's a solid circle, and that is Stamping Up. And, oh no, I'm so sorry. They're not Stamping Up. They're close to my heart stamps, most of them, if not all of them, except for the map stamp. And okay, so the reason I picked that aqua was because I had like a cut apart card that was different colors like that. Well, then I switched. You can see the cut apart cards on the left there with the camera and the boot, and I decided to go with those instead. So now I've picked out new inks. I know I want to go with that um, the solid circle. Now, I'm not a great one for cleaning my stamps, so maybe do as I say and not as I do. But what I will do, and you'll see me doing this several times, is I'll stamp it off onto a scrap piece of paper, and then I'm going to throw those. But just an old piece of paper that I don't want. That's how I clean my stamp. I'll just stamp it off. That I proved is not foolproof because my stamping does get a couple, I wouldn't say it's not like dirty color, but it's a couple different colors. So I've got the blue and the brown and the green, and it's, I don't know, it kind of gives it a map color to me. So I was okay with that. So, and I'm so sorry. This is just me stamping off. I will pull up what I've stamped that I'm going to use on my page in a moment. Oh, and here we go. So you can see like I laid the stamp down, and then because the stamp is so long, I can get a couple impressions off. Now I'm going to take those, what I stamped in I have a Creative Memories circle punch, and those will punch out the circles that I want. And this is what I'm going to do with them. I have these acrylic domes that you can get like on Etsy in large packs, and it makes kind of like a flare if you think about it like that, but nice little embellishments. So once those are cut out with the circle punch, I will then put the acrylic domes over the top, and I will have myself like three little flare to put into different clusters. In a moment, I will bring out the pattern paper just to let you know the arrow paper I think is American Crafts, but I can tell you that the ticket paper is the backside of packaging of 49 and Market. And these are simple stories cut aparts from a 6x8 pad, and that's where I'm taking my color inspiration from. I'm finding some pattern papers to go on top and onto the bottom, and I'm going to cut those in, I think, about 2-inch strips. The photos that I have are from my England trip from last year in June of 24 that I've been doing a lot of lately. This is still on day 2, and I probably used more photos than I would have to tell this story. But because I wanted to follow the sketch, I have the one card apart card, and I had the picture of myself and the signpost, and I think the trees over the river there, and maybe even one of the trails, but I pulled out one more picture to fill in the spaces on the sketch, which I think is great. The green of these photos goes really well with the collection. With that camera, you can see it has green in there, but also just with the neutral colors, it really makes them pop. Here I am trying to decide what kind of washi tape I wanted to cover my seam of the two papers. And I do decide to go with this copper. It's kind of like little copper arrows, I guess, or triangles pointing in one direction. And I did feel like I felt like the black was just too harsh. So was I felt like was a perfect way to not be matchy matchy, but to get something that coordinates on the page. I do love using washi because I have so much of it, and I'd rather have it on my page than sitting in my stash. As I am lining these up, I figure out that the picture of myself is a little bit smaller than those other pictures, and it's actually shorter, but not necessarily thinner. And that can happen when I print two photos onto a 4x6. I go in the Project Life app, two 3x4 photos. If you don't kind of line them up exactly, um, then one might get a little bit bigger than the others, and that's how that happens. But the way and you could tell, right, that I was a little bit smaller. I did trim off a little bit widthwise so that it's got an even frame all the way around, and I just took some of that pattern paper from the 6x8 pad and I framed that. Now I'm going to take my um, black paper to mat all of the photos. Once I get these arranged, I will skip forward to when they're all glued down. But I want to let you know that I will still list the Christy's Beautiful Life in her 30 Days of Sketches playlist below so you can see all of those. If anybody's like myself, they will still be adding some videos of different sketches this month. I will also have everyone that's playing along with um, Stamp and Stencil Savvy, which there's a playlist for that as well. So the butterflies I'm pulling out are from the Arden Creative Studios. The collection is called Hidden Creek. Those and I think the ferns are from that as well. The boots and the cut apart card are from Simple Stories Simple Vintage Woodlands collection. And I checked, and those ferns are definitely from Simple Stories. Sorry about that. All right, and so then you'll see me arranging all the kind of the ephemera pieces, but then I'm also going to sneak those um, the ones I've stamped, the acrylic domes that kind of look like flare. I'm going to sneak those into each one of the clusters. So you'll see me moving things around. I'm really getting excited about how this is turning out. My hiking photos all have now, well, I shouldn't say all. The ones I've done lately all have a similar feel. Now, I've been doing them throughout the last year, and those look very different, and I'm very okay with that. Nothing in my scrapbooks looks uniform, and actually that's kind of what I like is when things don't necessarily match, but it is also cool to see some of these hiking photos have the same kind of vibe, so I'm okay with that as well. I do like to leave at least a little journaling space on each of these pages. A lot of them kind of go together. I'm going to have all day two together. So some of that information might overlap. So I don't journal until like this is complete, this day is complete, because then I can go. I don't know if I told you this before, but I brought a journal along while I was hiking. So each night I would make my notes of that day, and I can't tell you, I wish I would do that more often, and I don't take the time to do that. Um, it, it- so it was very helpful then to go back and to be able to say this is what happened that day. And these were the funny little stories that happened because those are often the things that I forget. The other thing to tell you is that these ephemera um, bits, these uh the collections or the packages of the ephemera and stuff, they go a long way because you can see I'm layering three or four or so in each cluster, and I've got many more that, well, we can talk about clusters too. So there is the thought that you should do a small, medium, and large. Do I always do that? Absolutely not. But you can see in the right lower cluster, it has that big label, but it only has two um, embellishment pieces. So I probably do, sometimes I'll do, it's not like big noticeable, but like one might have three pieces, one might have four, that kind of thing. So now I'm taking a stencil, and I believe it's Tim Holtz, and I'm just giving a little bit more something, something on the edges on that white paper. And I really like the way that this kind of finishes off the page. And the stenciling is the last thing that I will do to finish off the page. You can see I'm getting it some of my glass mat, but that wipes up so easily. All right, until next time, crafting makes my heart happy, and I hope you find what makes your heart happy too.